Hey there, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have several cards and I'm going to be using this stamp set. This is called Sweater Weather on Safari and I have the matching dies and I've got those lined up into my Misti. I'm probably not going to do this in the future, but this is one way that you can cut down on not, cutting your dies apart if you don't want to, and that way it does make the die cutting process a little easier. I don't find it as it's definitely efficient, but I don't find it to be as accurate. So I probably won't do this in the future, but what you can do is you can line up your stamps inside of your dies if you have the cut side down, and then you just put your stamps inside of that. Sorry, pardon my head. And then when you get that ready to go, you just close the door of your Misti, and then you can ink up your stamps with whatever you're doing. I plan to do some Copic coloring, so I am inking these up with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. As you can see, this elephant is going to give me a fit. The ink, for whatever reason, pools inside of his head, and so I'm going to clean it off. I do have that smudge on him, and I try to erase it with my Mono Sand eraser, but it's not really budging too much, so I'm just going to go with it. I decide to color with him anyway, and so I'll move my paper down and stamp up or ink up my stamps again, and then I wipe away a little bit of what's on the inside of his head, because like I said, it just keeps pooling in there. And then we will stamp him again, or ink him up again, trying not to press too hard inside of his forehead. And this time around I don't have too much of an issue. I'll stamp it up twice to make sure that I have a good crisp image, wiping away any ink that might pool into his head. And then I'll do it one more time, and this time I do it again, but it's not quite as bad. And I'll just use each of those images. It really doesn't bother me that much. And I did stamp out quite a few because I plan to make quite a few cards. I was inspired by some of that Tonic paper that I had gotten in a haul video not too long ago. Many of you said, please use it, show me what you do with it, because I have so much of it and I don't know what to do with it. So I decided to do that. I was inspired, like I said, by some cardstock and by some of the pretty papers. And so I'll show you those here in a little bit, but we're going to do our Copic coloring. Instead of talking you through it this time, I am going to use some music because I didn't zoom in. So I don't know how hard it is to see or if you can tell what I'm doing, but I'm just going to put a little music over the top of this, and I will see you on the other side. so as I finish up my coloring, I would really love to know what you think of adding music to it, or if you'd just rather I come up with some crazy story, because I can do that too. So as you can see, I lined up the matching die, taped that down with a little bit of washi tape, and then I run that through my die cutting machine. And then I'll just peel off those dies and move them up. So it is efficient, it is quicker, but I guess I didn't get mine completely lined up perfectly because my tigers were a little off, which is okay, it's fine. But I much prefer that if I'm going to take the time to color, that they work out that way. All right, so these are the papers I was talking about. This is the Tonic. This is the soft leather jacket specialty paper, and the other two are specialty cardstocks. So this is bronze Labyrinth, and then the other one is crimson silk. And I use these three papers to do some die cutting, and I use that soft suede as my background, and that's what inspired all the colors that I chose today. So I clearly did a lot of die cutting and using different dies that I had, and I'll have all those linked down below. Max wants to come and see what I'm doing. So I'm using the Hearts Trio Shaker window dies, and I'm also using this one that was a free with 60. So that one had an arrow that I cut out using that gold paper, that bronze Labyrinth. And then it's neat because it has this cut in it. I couldn't seem to find it on their website, so it must have been one of those things that clearly was just free with 60, and then that's it. You can't get it again. But it was a really cool die, so I am sorry that I can't seem to find it. And then now here is Miles coming to visit as well, and he's funny because he doesn't really like to be held unless you hold him like a baby. So here he is just checking it out, getting a belly rub. And then now we will go ahead and assemble our card. So I'm going to use some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere down that paper. And it's bumpy on the back too. But this stuff is just gorgeous. I can't wait to delve into some more of those papers. And this is definitely a great way to use the papers though, because it makes them really stand out if you just use minimal supplies on top. So as you can tell, I just trimmed down a little bit of that bronze Labyrinth just into some strips. And then I'm gluing that down with that same Nuvo Deluxe glue. And then I just have those little bits of embellishments. I did take some time to stamp out all the sentiments that I was going to use, and I put some flag banners on some of those. And then those are ready to go, and I can just kind of mix and match how I want to do them. I'm only going to show you the process of the one card because they're all basically the same process, just looking a little bit different, and they all use the same supplies, so that's kind of cool. And then I'll use foam tape on the back of my sentiments, and I'll use foam tape on the back of almost all my critters except the ones that I put on the insides of the cards. So this one uses some foam tape on the back of the little giraffe. And then I also went ahead and used some Nuvo drops. You don't see me do it, but after all the cards were done, I grabbed some Auburn Pearl Nuvo drops and put those on the outside. Those matched that bronze Labyrinth so beautifully. And I'll put a little coffee cup in his hand or his paw, and that'll finish off the inside of that card. But we'll go ahead and take a look at all the cards that I made. And like I said, they're all a little different. I mean, they're all the same, but they're all different. And the insides are different too, which is fun. And like I said, I used some of that Auburn Pearl, which I really love, but we'll take a look at all of them. So if you're looking for ways to use some of that specialty paper, here is one for sure. I just colored up obviously a bunch of little critters and die cut all of them out, and then the process of making these cards was really quite quick and simple, and I'm really happy with the result. So I can either use these separately or I can stack them together and give it as a gift. It really doesn't matter. So if you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I typically have 3 to 4 videos a week, so I would love it if you came back by again. And I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye, guys.